Okay, our meeting has started recording. Now, let me share the important screens. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen, please, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Can we see a menu now? Can we see a software?
Yes.
So this software is called Figma. You don't have to install it, but in a real life project, this is what we use. UI UX designers will design the projects using Figma, and we are to do the work. Once the UI UX designers design the Figma, we do the design. And these are the websites we are going to be building throughout this course. And interestingly, most of us had wanted to see the clone of Instagram. Unfortunately, we have a UI UX designer in the Figma community who decided to give out this free UI UX design. So we will use this to learn the basics of HTML by cloning this particular site. We'll learn HTML and CSS, no JavaScript, just HTML, CSS, and jQuery. We would ignore every JavaScript related topic for now. And then when we move forward, we are going to clone this site too. We'll use it to learn more. Maybe we'll use it to learn Sass. It's another extension of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Sorry, Sass is an extension of CSS. It makes writing CSS easier. Then once we are done, not this one yet, we'll use this to learn Vue.js, the basics. We'll use it to learn how to work with components and the rest. Then finally, we'll also use this to learn Tailwind CSS. This is another fully blown site. We'll use it to learn CSS. Tailwind CSS. It's an extension of CSS, and it's a very powerful tool. It makes work faster. Then finally, this is our final project. We'll build a fully blown e-commerce website. It will have a lot. So this UI UX designer has designed it fully responsive. These are all the pages for the desktop, and these are all the pages for the tablet, which we will do. These are all the pages for the mobile. So you can see that there is a lot of work and there is a lot to learn. And I hope we can complete this. And you would have to stick around. That is all we need from you. Stick around for as long as possible. This course might take up to 7 or even 9 months or more, depending on how fast the team is. And with all the challenges, facing us, like internet, light, and all that. So these are what we plan to do. There is a lot to learn. And I don't know, I wrote in the group the list of topics we are going to treat. So let me paste it again and give you the list of topics. It's already in the group. Is anyone with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the list of the topics are all already in the group. Let me try and copy this. Can you see my web page? Can you see a browser now?
Yes.
Anybody?
I've seen it.
All right. So let me open up let's just open up any of the text editing tools. Sorry. Okay, just hold on a bit. I'm just trying to get the list of the topics and why I'm picking these topics. Okay. Okay, so these are the list of the topics. Like I showed you, those pages there, we would use them, we would use those designs to, learn these topics. So we'll build an app for each and everything. So right now we'll build an app for this page we are going to design now, which is the LinkedIn clone. We are going to learn HTML, CSS. Then we are going to use another page to learn SAS and Tailwind CSS. After that, we're going to learn ES6, that's JavaScript, and then we are going to learn TypeScript. Then we are going to learn design patterns. After design patterns, we'll learn data structures and algorithms. These two might not have a project. These two might not have a project, but it's needed to do this. It's practical, but it's more of the theory, the way you go about writing JavaScript in the best way and solving some solutions. Then we'll talk about Webpack and jump into Vue.js and Nox. After Vue.js and Nox.
Excuse me. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
For the Vue, are we going to use Vue 3 or Vue 2?
No, Vue 3. We're going to use the latest one.
Okay.
Yeah. For everything we are learning here, we're going to use the latest and current technologies. We don't need to learn the old one. So even if you don't know the old one, it doesn't matter. We won't waste time, for example, in HTML trying to learn HTML4 or XHTML. We'll just go straight to the current HTML. That's the most important thing. Then eventually, if we get enough time, we would talk about advanced topics. So we can start now. Who doesn't have the software installed? So quickly, if you don't have the software installed, the software we'll be using, which is VS Code, just go to Visual Studio Code, download, and click on download and select the necessary operating system. That's if you're using a Mac, click this one. If you're using a Linux operating system, click this one. If you're using a Windows, select this one. So please, can anyone raise their hands or say something if you don't have those things installed? We might have a next class for you, another class for you. And you might not be able to follow along very well with this class. You can just watch the YouTube video because we spent enough time, talking about installation and installations. So let's start ahead. So I'm going to scratch this. I'm going to start a whole new project. And with the project, we are going to learn step by step. Then for you to follow along very well, you need to go to Figma site, go to the Figma. Just visit figma.com. You don't need to install the software. All you need to do is go to Figma, and I'll give you a link. I'll send out a link for the LinkedIn clone. I don't want to give you everything at once. I'll just give you what we need for this class. So if I give you the link, even if you don't have Figma installed, it will give you the options to set it up. So let me go to the Figma community. So this is where you can find every resource for Figma. Figma is a tool for designing softwares and applications. But we are not going to learn how to do the design here, except if I have someone who is really good with UX design and he's ready to teach you for free. But as long as we don't have someone, we will just use it the way developers use it, to see the design and make it come to life. So this is where I searched for all the UI we used. All I needed to do was to type LinkedIn. Someone designed it for free and I made it available. So I clicked this LinkedIn clone. So you can go to this person's profile, like his work, and support him by liking his work. So his name is Kamal Sahal Karfi. So you can like his work, you can share his work, and hopefully he gets more opportunities from the kind of good work he has given us. So you can, once you come to this site, let me copy this site and give it to everyone in the chat. Let me paste it to everyone in the chat. Let's see if I can. So I just pasted the link. So if you can still see my screen, you just need to click on this duplicate. If you don't have an account, it will make you create an account. If you don't have the software installed, it will ask you to install, but you don't even need to install the software because it works on the web. It's a perfect software. It works on the web. It was built using this technology. What's it called? I just forgotten the name of the technology. It allows you to build native apps and make it run well on the browser. Anyways, if I remember the technology, I would say it out. So just duplicate this and you'll have it. So let's start. Are you seeing my Figma screen? Let me go ahead and close the rest so that I save bandwidth. Are you seeing my screen? Is everyone seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So let me set the option to fill. Okay.
So Figma
Okay.
is used as as a GitHub.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll set the GitHub eventually. But let's just start coding. Let's just start coding this one. Let's at least get some of the UI ready. Let's get some of the UI ready. I need to even open the main projects. Because we need to be getting some of the information from it. So does everyone have the LinkedIn showing now?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is the wrong one, right? So cover. So okay. This is the kit. Okay. So we need this one opened. So we need this one. I don't know why it's delayed. So it was delaying, maybe because I'm recording everything. So this is the home page. Do we have this opened, please? Do we have it? You don't need to install the software. You can actually open this on your web browser. So first thing, okay, I've sent you the link on the chat. Did you see a link I sent you on the chat?
Let me check.
I sent everyone the chat. The chat is, there is a link on the chat. If you check the chat, there is a link. Just go click on it and it will enable you either run it on the browser, or if you want to install the Figma software, you can install the Figma software.
Is it
So
needed for our rest works?
what? Can you come again?
Is it needed for our
Hmm?
needed for our future works?
Is it what?
Is it needed for our future works?
Yes, it's needed for all the future works because we are going to be using all the Figma designs to build all the sites. Yeah, we're going to be using them to build all the sites. So it's needed. If you want to install the software, fine, go ahead, install the software. It will be good for you. You can also learn how to work with the software. But if you don't need it, you don't have to. You can always run everything on the website. However, you need to create an account with them. So the reason why I opened both the projects and the view is for quick referencing. The view is for quick referencing. Meanwhile, the main project is for getting detailed information. So can we start now? Is everyone ready for us to start now? Hello, is everyone ready for us to start now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's start.
No.
Okay. Okay, what problem are you having now? So it's the link. Just click on the link. To open the website, all you need to do is just click on that link. The link I sent earlier. Let me send it again. Maybe if you're just joining. Yeah, I can hear you.
Why do you send the link?
Yeah.
To the chat. It's on the chat.
Hello.
The link is on the chat.
Yes.
Not
Listen,
on the
Abdullah.
group, WhatsApp group. It's on the Zoom chat.
Zoom chat.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Abdullah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can hear
I was
you.
saying you have two screens open. You have one
Hello.
from Figma and you have one from the web that shows the website in full view. So I'm saying, how do I open that website on my page? Because I have it on Figma already. I can see everything.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so can you see my screen currently?
Yes, I can. Perfect.
So you navigate to the top right corner and click on present. It will run the full view for you, and you still have this one running. So to the top right corner, you can see it here, present. Click on it, and it will run it fully for quick referencing, and this one for detailed information. So we need to have both running.
Abdullah.
I hope you understand. Yeah, I can hear you, Viswa.
Yeah, I have just logged in and signed up into Figma. It is
Yes.
asking for such team name. So is it compulsory to give such team name?
No, it's not compulsory to give. You can use its individual account. It's not compulsory to use team name.
Okay. So can we start a team for our work also here for here?
Yeah.
Can we create a team for our work like for this class?
No, I'm not going to create a team. Everyone should just have because I need to pay money to do those kind of stuff. And I don't. Yeah, like that's kind of expensive. So since everyone has access and can have those individual designs, no problem. Let's just use it like that.
So what are we supposed to do after we enter the link?
It is asking for design with Figma and whiteboard with exam.
After okay, someone asked a question, what are we supposed to do after we open them?
Yeah.
No, we are going to code this UI. So this is just a plain design. So we are going to write codes to bring it to life, have it as a website. So I'm just waiting for everyone to be set before I start teaching you how to write the HTML codes. Before I start writing the HTML codes.
Sorry, please, can you send the LinkedIn link again?
Okay, you just joined in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, my internet is connected, so I had to.
Okay, I just shared it again. Make sure you're using your laptop for this because you can't. Yeah, make sure you're all using your laptop for the meetings. Going forward, you need to be using the laptop. for the meetings. Okay, are we set to start? Okay, so let's start now. So since we have our since we have the what's it called, the Figma going on, let's just start doing the HTML. All right. So let me share my terminal screen. Does everyone know how to use the terminal or the command prompt? Let me share my desktop. So let me share my desktop. So has everyone seen my desktop?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So right now, if you're using a Windows, you should click the Windows key and R. Please, if you're using a Windows, type Windows and R. I'm going to show you something. Windows key and R. If you're using a Mac, if you're using a Mac, just look for click on command and space. If you're using a Windows, Windows and R. If you're using a Mac, command and space. Is anyone using Linux? Okay, I think no one is using Linux. So if you're using
Hello?
Windows,
I'm using Linux.
Okay, using Linux,
Yes.
you'd have to look for your terminal. So search for your terminal. Okay. So if you're using a Windows, when you click Control R on Windows R on Windows.
Sorry,
Windows R on Windows.
what is it for Mac?
Command space for Mac. Just click on this. For Mac, you would see this. You would see this spotlight. Then type terminal up and run it. For Windows, write CMD and run it. If you click on Windows R, you would see a small pop-up comes up. Just write CMD and run it. I need you to run your command prompt. I need you to run your terminal, because we need to start getting used to the terminal and getting used to the command prompt. So for those of you using Mac, are you all here?
No.
Command spacebar, then type terminal. Command spacebar, type terminal. You would see it come, open up that app. So you would see a black and white console. Even for the Windows 2, you would see a black and white console. Windows R, CMD, enter. For Mac, command spacebar, then you open your terminal. Are we all on the terminal or command prompt, please? Hello, are we all there?
Yes.
All right. So just type CD.
Shall we have to go for that project space?
Yeah.
Shall we have to go for the project space where we have to create that folder?
Just write CD.
Yeah.
We are trying to go into the user account. Already on Mac, by default, you are in the user account. So before we start writing CD, there's this one good command you should know. So for Mac users, you can write ls. It will list all the directories in your system. For Windows user, type dir.
DIR.
Yes, for Windows users, type dir. Let me add it to the chat. For Windows users, type dir. So everyone, for Windows, type dir. For Mac and Linux, type ls. Mac and Linux, the same command mostly works for Mac and Linux. So you notice that we have folders. So what we need to go to is where you want to save the projects. For me right now, I want to save it on the desktop. Or we can save it anywhere else. You can save it anywhere else. So, or rather than saving it on the desktop, I have a folder dedicated for development. So I'm going to save it in development. So to go to a folder you should write CD. Is my terminal clear? Can you see my terminal? Is the wording clear? You have to write CD, then select the folder by writing the name of the folder. You would see that you are inside that folder. Are we all here, please?
Yes.
For those of you who want to save it on
No.
desktop, just type CD desktop and you will be in the desktop folder. For those of you who want to save it in another folder, just type that folder that you want. So for me, I want to save it inside my development folder. And inside my development folder, if I write ls again, I would see that I have different folders. And inside that folder, I have HTML. So I can CD to that HTML folder. You don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. You save it anywhere you feel like it's safe for you to put your projects. So preferably, if you remember the previous classes, we have a folder called Code Sahil Projects, but you can save it anywhere. So if you have a folder that you call Code Sahil Projects, you can put it there, but it doesn't really matter, but just be organized and make sure it's a place you can remember. Now that I am inside the folder that I'm satisfied with, I can write this command mkdir, which means make directory. So you must provide the name. So mkdir, I'm going to call it LinkedIn clone. LinkedIn clone. Remember, never put space in between when you are naming a file for a project. Never put spaces. Replace the space with underscore. So LinkedIn underscore clone. I have created that folder. The same command goes for whether you're using Mac or Windows. It's mkdir. It creates a folder for you. And if you go, if you are on Mac, if you actually go to the folder you created just now, you would find it on your Explorer. If you're using Windows 2, if you go to your Explorer, you can find it. You would see that you've created a folder. Are we all here, please?
No, sir.
Okay, what problem are you having?
I'm still trying to save it in my Code Sahil project.
Okay, so CD to Code Sahil underscore projects, then mkdir, the name of the project. So the link to the Figma is already, I'm pasting it again. So the Figma file, just in case you didn't get it. Once you click on it, you see the option for duplicate it, and you would have the project running. So are we all here now? Have you created all the folders? So please do not get intimidated with this console. You need to get used to it. So and the easiest way to learn is by practicing, is by trying to work with it. I could do a full, boring course on how Linux works, but it won't be handy. It's better we just keep using it gradually, step by step. So are we there now, please, so that I can just, start the project? Hello, are we all here? Are we all at the same page? Okay,
Yeah,
I assume we are. So once you've created that folder, you need to cd into the folder. So there is one trick I need to show you is if you click on your arrow up, it will show you the previous command. If you click on your arrow up, it will keep showing you the previous commands. So an arrow down goes to the most recent command. So we can clean this mkdir and replace it with cd. This is the same for people who are using Windows and same for people who are using Mac. So cd to that folder. Hello, someone. Hello. Who is? So have you all cd'd to the file? Hello? Have you all cd'd to the folder? Okay.
yeah, I'm in the folder.
All right. So you can write code dot
Yes.
and it will open VS
Sorry,
Code for you.
my can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My code is showing an error.
Okay, when you try,
there's no such file on the directory.
No. Did you write code dot? Are you using your terminal?
Yeah, I'm using my terminal.
So did you, when you created the
I'm at the CD Code Sahel project.
Okay. Can you share your screen, please, quickly?
Okay.
Maybe some other people are facing the same problem.
So you disabled screen sharing.
Okay, let me enable you now.
Okay.
I just stopped sharing so that you can share. And let me enable multiple participants. So you can share your screen now.
Can you see my screen?
Okay. So did you create, let's see, can you click on the arrow key?
Arrow down?
Arrow down or arrow up?
Arrow up.
Okay. You are not in the folder called Sahel Pro. You see, the thing is, we first cd'd, write ls, clear everything and write ls. It means list, yes, list directories. ls.
ls.
Yes.
Enter.
Yes, enter. So you see, you have your desktop, your documents, your download, your library. Where did you create the project? Where do you want the project created?
Yeah, Abdullah, so my screen is set.
Documents.
Okay, cd to documents.
All right.
Hello.
So CD
yeah, I can hear you.
CD.
Yeah, also my screen is shared.
You want to share a screen, Bishwa?
No, already my screen is shared. Is it showing to you or not?
What?
My screen is already shared. Is it showing to you or not?
No. We can only see one screen at a time.
Okay. But it's showing that I'm already sharing.
Okay.
So I just did CD document.
Yes. So ls the documents. ls now.
Okay, LS.
Yes.
Enter.
Click on OK. Yeah. So you can see you don't have that folder you are trying to go into. So remember, I wrote a command mkdir.
Should I go
Right? No,
type
just write mkdir. Yes.
mkdir? Yeah.
Space.
Abdullah, I have sent something on WhatsApp. Please check.
Yeah. One thing at a time, please, Biswa. Let's finish with him first. So mkdir, the space, the name of the project you want to create, the name of the folder you want to create. So you want to create Code Sahir projects, right? So
But
write it there.
I already have Code Sahir project.
At which location do you have it? At which location? Where did you save that Code Sahir? No, don't close it. Can you remember?
It is right here. Can you see
on your
it?
desktop? All right, so let's go back to the terminal. I want us to get used to it. That's why I'm taking the time for that. So cd to your okay, now cd ...
On the same line.
No, clear the mkdir. cd. Yeah,
Space.
Space
Space dot.
Yes, hit enter. So it takes you back. It takes you back. So ls now.
Okay, ls, enter.
Yes. So you are on the project you wanted to access is on your desktop. So cd into your desktop. cd means change directory.
cd
space desktop.
Enter.
Yeah. ls to see the names of your projects. ls. Allow. Mark is very strict, so it tries to prevent you from doing things. So I can see, you see the code here underscore projects. So just say cd code here underscore projects.
Okay, cd
space. Yeah, always space code Sahir underscore projects. Hit enter. And ls, do you have any project already in that folder?
Yeah, I think I have the LinkedIn
clone. So ls, so that we see the proper spelling of that LinkedIn.
Okay, ls.
So you have LinkedIn. Now
yes.
you can just write you can just cd into LinkedIn.
Okay, cd space LinkedIn.
Yes. din. Aha, then code space dot.
Code.
Aha, so that's it. We are done with you. Does anyone have the same problem on Windows? Hello? Okay, so is it okay for me to assume no one has any problem? Biswa, you were trying to share your screen before. Hello? Biswa? Can you hear me?
Yes.
you were trying to share your screen. What was it you were having? What challenge were you having?
No, I just have
Okay, so let's carry on.
only I want to show that.
Okay, so if you have the Visual Studio Code opened, let me reshare with the Visual Studio. You wanted to show us?
I'm just inside the project. Like it was
Okay.
my LinkedIn, yeah. Like it was my LinkedIn clone,
Yeah.
and here I am. That's something else want to show.
Okay. All right, that's good. That's good. So so let me open up the Visual Studio and create the necessary files and stuff. Okay, I'm about to share the Visual Studio Code now. Together with the Figma file and the browser. So are you all seeing the Visual Studio? I believe yours is opened. So even if you have files before, you can clear the files. Just don't worry, clear the files. We are starting from the beginning. So one thing we need is you go to your left bar, you would see the icon for add file. Make sure you name it index.html. So the index.html is the entry point to your project. The index.html is the entry point to your project. Then before we carry on, do you have all the plugins for writing HTML? If you don't, you won't be able to do something like this. So HTML5, and I hit tab and it writes all the codes for me.
I do have.
Okay. So if everyone is on the same page, we can just write HTML. You would see options coming out. Then you click on your arrow button. Make sure you select the one that says HTML full column 5. You would see that a HTML code is generated for you. So we can go to our Figma and look at the presentation, the project we are presenting, and you would notice that it has a title. So we can change the title to LinkedIn and save. Do you have there's another plugin where if you right click your project, you would see open live server. Does everyone has this live server plugin installed? If you don't, just let me know so that I can help you install the live server plugin. So if you click on open with live server, it will run on your browser. It will run an empty website with index.html running on possibly a port 5500. So your port might be different depending on maybe whether something is using that port, but you would see this website open. And that is the project we are trying to create. You would see an empty website open. Is everyone at this particular point now?
Yes.
Okay. So we can go and look at our Figma. So looking at our Figma, let's look at the main Figma file and get some important information. For example, the project entirely has a grade, or let's say ash or gray colored. I don't know colors very well. But let's say it has a gray background, not a completely white background. You can see there is difference between this tab and the background itself. So we can start by making that happen. And you see our own website is completely white. So we can start by changing the background. And if you want to change the background, the best thing is to change it using CSS. And if you notice, the person has gone to create some color palettes. So some colors and some fonts. We'll get to fonts later, but let's focus more on the colors and blocking out things. So we can go and add a new folder called CSS. So click on this icon that allows you to create a new folder and call it CSS. That's where all our CSS files will reside. Then in that CSS folder, make sure the CSS folder is selected. Create a new file, call it style.css. Call it style.css. And the next step we need to follow is right after the title element. Right after the title element, we need to add another element called link. You notice it's very important that we have that plugin installed, the plugins that predicts what you're trying to type. So which is when you type the link now, you will start seeing options. Scroll down to the option that shows you CSS and click it. It has already brought an attribute. So in HTML, in an element, all of this HTML is made up of elements. So in a particular HTML element, we have some things called attributes. And from the definition, from the English definition of attributes, it simply means what describes something. An attribute is just what describes something. So in this attribute, we have an attribute called the rel, which specifies that this particular type of link we are trying to work with is a HTML, is a CSS style sheet. So that's why we have this rel style sheet. Then we have this href, which means hyperlink reference. So what URL? So what URL are we trying to reference? And URL simply means uniform resource locator. That means where we are locating the file. Where are we locating this file? We are locating this file. We are locating this file from the CSS and in the style. So because you remember we created this CSS folder before we added the CSS into it. The CSS folder is not outside like the index.html. So when referencing it, we need to be careful and say, oh, href is equals to CSS style.css. So that way, when we create CSS classes, it will be reflecting the website. So what we can do is to say, okay, before I explain what we want to do, you can see this tag. This tag is called the body tag. I have explained the body tag. It is one of the most important tags on the website. This is where everything that needs to be displayed is shown. The body tag. So, and I've also explained what the head tag is for. So the head tag is just for holding reference. It's for things like specifying the document type, specifying the viewport for responsive design, specifying the title of the document. It's descriptive and nothing more. It's just for description. And in the last class, we even showed you how we can use this same reference to translate our website into Hausa from English to Hausa. Because if we change this EN, you can see that there is an attribute in the HTML which says lang, and the language is equals to English, which is EN. The shortcut for English is EN. We can do that again by, in the body, typing good morning in English. And if we check our website, we'll see that good morning has been typed. And once we change this English to HA, it should change it to Inakwana. Okay, it's not changing because we wrote Hausa, we wrote English, so we should change the word to Hausa, which is Ina Kwana. Hausa is the language I can write very well. So Google Chrome, with this, you can use it to translate this to English. I'm supposed to add a A. If I save this and change the language to English, it would change this to good day for me. So I hope you understand the importance. Don't worry, we might go back to it, but don't worry if you don't get this very well. This is for globalization and localization. I just wanted to explain the importance of the head tag. So the body tag is where everything we need to display is being typed. Now, the first thing we need to do is to change the background color to look like that of the Figma file, which is not white, which is this gray. And we can easily do that by selecting this gray and copying the code. So let me select this property. You can see this gray, you don't even need to follow me by copying it, but this is how I'm getting the colors. So all I need to do is to just copy this particular color, this particular gray. Then if you're using the browser, if you're running this particular project on the browser, there is a tool on the browser for copying codes, but we'll talk about that one later. So click on this icon and select the gray color. Make sure you select a place that has that color and go to the property. There is apart from design, there is a property. Come on, I already know. Okay. Select the body where you want. The background for this is black. Let's see. Okay, the guy just used the main tab, so that's why it's not giving us the color. But however, we can use the color picker and check. So how I use that is I click on I. If you're on Figma, if you click on I, you can check what color any place is giving you. So I've checked the color. The color code is #F3 F2 EF. So we can go to our web browser and our text editor and write body. We are trying to write a CSS style here. So we are targeting the body. So by writing body and saying background on dash color, paste or type the color we copied, which is F. It doesn't matter. You can write whether in small letter or capital letter. You can say F3, F2, EF. If we save, we will notice our app changed color. It changes to that gray, this same gray here. So to use that picker, all you need to do is to click the I. The I you would use it to pick the color. If you want or to check the color and you will see it highlighted and showing you that color, you need to remember or pick the color, and if you paste it somewhere, it will. Oh no, it only works within Figma, but you can always highlight and see the color.
Sorry.
And if you want to go back to your main you click on V, your main selection tool. So someone was trying to say something.
Yeah. My linked, like the LinkedIn we already worked on isn't opening on.
Isn't
not opening on the visual code.
You can create another one so that we will just be fast. Just create another folder And you mustn't follow exactly all the steps. If you have an easier way to just open the folder, just open and create a brand new project. Because we are starting this one afresh. If you notice, there is nothing we did. All we did was to write that HTML, this HTML, and just add this CSS with the body tag. So when writing CSS, you can provide what you want to target, the target element, then the body. You must open these brackets and close them, then provide the attributes, the CSS attributes, and the value, and always put semicolon to complete what the command you want it to do. So what we want this to do is to change the background color. If I should comment this and write another color like background dash color and put pink, you would see a great change that the background color has changed to pink. If I change this to black, you would see that it has changed to black. So that's how we work with this. We work with CSS. And the reason why the changes are happening is because we have this link to the HTML, to the CSS. So I hope we all understand and we are on the same page, please. If you're having any problem, this is a good time to ask questions before we start other things. Okay.
I'm actually not on the same page.
Okay, what problem are you facing?
Can I just share my screen so you can see like what exactly?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you tried to create HTML and you are not even in the project actually. You know what you can do? Just close this Visual Studio Code completely. So right-click the project, right-click this project. Now close the Visual Studio. On your desktop, the code_Sahir folder, right-click it. The code underscore. Your folder, right-click the folder, code Sahir_projects. The folder itself, right-click it. No, just right-click it. You are right-clicking the desktop, right-click the folder itself. Click on new terminal at folder, down, the last two commands. Now type code space dot. Okay, you were the one who had the terminal problem. Were you the one who had the terminal problem the last time?
Yes.
I thought we fixed it by copying the Visual Studio Code to your application folder.
Exactly.
Did you delete it?
No.
Open your Explorer for me, where you find all your projects, all your installed apps. Yeah, your Launchpad. I can see VS Code.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you delete some of those commands?
No, I didn't.
Okay, try to drag and drop this folder for now. Try to drag and drop this folder in the code, VS Code.
Sorry?
Try to drag your code Sahir_projects into the VS Code.
Okay.
Drag it into the VS Code. Drag into the VS Code. So this is one way of opening. Oh, okay. Close the VS Code, sorry. Close it. Open that folder, open it because you have open the folder. Yes, just double click it. You have another folder, the LinkedIn project itself.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, so open VS Code and drag it to open the project for you. That's one way to just quickly open a project.
Drag it to
VS Code. Yeah, but you don't have VS Code open. You don't have VS Code open, do you?
Yeah, I have to.
You have to open it.
Okay.
So just drag it into it. Don't minimize, don't maximize too. Just click on that folder. Click. Drag it into the VS Code.
Yeah, just
So, click the tab to show you your files. So you can delete everything if you want to, but let's see, you don't have index.html. Collapse the CSS folder. No, open up the LinkedIn, just the CSS. I only want the CSS collapsed. Okay. Outside the CSS, click outside the CSS folder. Now create a new file called index.html. No, you can't type because you don't have anything. You're trying to search here. So click on that icon for creating a new file. There's an icon to your left. No. Click on that, the file. No, click back the top right, the top left corner, please. The top left corner. No. Yes, there. There is an icon opposite the LinkedIn. Yes, that's for creating folders. New file. Index.html. Always hit enter once you're done. HTML5. Write HTML, just like I should. Select the HTML5. Good. So you can continue from here. So also go to the CSS, create a CSS file. Call it style.css. Yes, you have already selected. So click on the new file icon. Style.css. Hit enter. Type body, because we are targeting the body.
sorry.
Body.
Okay.
I think, yeah. Open and close square brackets. You can select that. Select it. Open and close square curly brackets.
Okay.
Shift your square bracket sign. Hold down shift and your square. No, not your regular bracket. Your square brackets. It's close to your P.
Yeah.
So type in background dash color. Hit enter first.
Okay.
Hit enter first.
Yeah, just
Hit the enter key.
enter.
Type background dash color. Select the background dash color. And remember the code, the code F3 hash F3
Hash F3.
F3 F2 EF.
F3. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so you've changed the background color to this. Go back to your index.html. You can use that. You can use the command Control Tab to just quickly navigate. Control Tab. It seems like you're frozen. Hello?
I think he's frozen.
Okay, so let's
Maybe his
continue.
network.
Let's continue. I have to share my screen now. I hope his screen doesn't stop me from sharing mine.
I think maybe he was called or something because he's not on.
Yes. So what I do, okay. So can you see this? Is everyone else at the same page?
Yes.
Okay. So what we need to do is to first design we should first try to design the top menu. That's the nav bar. We should first design the nav bar, then we design the content within the project. Some people approach it differently by creating the layout, but this project has a very simple layout. It's just the head and the nav bar. There is no footer. So let's go ahead and do that. So to do that,
Sorry, I'm asking, are we going to in this CSS, are we going to like grid or maybe flex and all those
of
things?
course, we are going to use flex and grid.
Okay.
So right now we need to have we're going to use flex. We don't need to use grid in this project. We're just going to, flex is enough for everything. We'll do a project that requires grid. So there is one important element which is called the header. It's just it's just an element for structuring your websites. So the header tag is really good, way to tell the person that, oh, this is a header session. And then we have a main session. You're just telling whoever is reading the code that, oh, we are dealing with the main body. So for this project, we don't even need too much layout. You only need the header and the main. That way we can easily just target the header and the main tags. So, and we can, we can use CSS to block out the header. So let me quickly block out the header. To block out the header, Control Tab. If I write header, it means I'm trying to target just the header tag. So, and I say the height should be 4 rem. Then the width should be VW. I will explain these units. But let me just write this. Then the background color should be white. Since it's white, we don't need to write any hash code. We can just write the white, the color. So can you see that we have blocked a white banner? And if we click on the main design and select this part, which is the header, and you can see the designer too has carefully crafted the header separately in a good order. This is a very good designer. So
okay, yeah, yes.
This is a very good designer. He has also specified that this is a header. So clicking on the properties, come on, stop showing me. I already be using this thing. So clicking on the properties, on the inspect, okay, it has changed to inspect. Okay, this is prototype, not properties. So it has changed to inspect. Clicking on the inspect, you would see that it has some values. The width is 1,440 pixel and the height is 53 pixel.
Yes.
So if we are designing a responsive website, we should be cautious of the values. He's designing for a specific screen, but we are designing to fit multiple screens. So we can write this 144, but it might give me problem because my screen has less resolution. If I inspect elements, if I inspect my browser and I click on this mobile icon, you would notice that my main screen is okay. My main screen is actually up to this. I think let me uninspect elements. Let me inspect element without this. I want to see what the width here is without. So my own width is not up to 1004. My screen width is not up to 1444. So if I say 1444, it will give me problem. So there is this relative. That's why I used for VW. What you are saying is the view width. The view width, that's the screen width. What you can view, and on every one screen, it will give you the same value, similar value, depending on the size of your width. If the pixels of your system is high, it will take up all the width. If it is low, it will take up all the width. So imagine this was designed for a smaller screen. There is a possibility for designing it for a smaller screen. This is a large laptop. So if we go to a small laptop, which is like 1102, and we specify it statically, which is 1024 px, 24 px, it will become small because my screen is bigger. It will not take the whole screen. And you see, this is not what we want to achieve. We want it to fill the whole screen. That's why I used viewport width. So that's the meaning of VW, viewport width. So the difference between PX is that pixel is statically typed. You are telling it to take exactly 1000 pixels of the person's screen. I know most of you watch movies, right? You download movies from website and you would hear, this movie's resolution is HD. This, or if you're streaming YouTube, they'll tell you this is 1080p, this is 4K. So your resolution, it's directly related to the amount of pixels on your screen, the pixel densities on your screen. That is another topic that we can discuss intensively, but I don't want to give too much information. Let's just focus more on creating the website. Now we have one problem. Did you notice our design has some padding? It has some spacing, and we did not say in the CSS, we didn't mention anywhere that we want it to have this spacing. So by default, your browser provides these spacings for you, but we don't want that. To cancel that using CSS, before the body tag, we will write hash space 8. You can shift 8 for star, and then open and close those curly brackets and say padding, give it 0, margin 2, give it 0. What you are saying is all the attributes, the star keyword is for saying all the attributes on my website should have 0 padding and 0 margin. If you check now, that problem is gone. If you save and check your website, that problem will be gone.
I have a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
But like, won't that affect, like, if we're going to, let's say, if we're going to add other things? I didn't know, since like the padding, it cannot override like the primary padding, right? Let's say for a new like tag, I want to make padding and margin. Will it let you override like the one that we have?
Of course.
Before?
So specifically, if you want to override, you can always override. So there is a level of hierarchy actually. So this, you are saying everything should have no padding and no margin. But when you come back to specify that the body itself should have a padding of, let me put a dramatic padding of 4 rem, it will override that one. So if you go to that specific target, if you go to the specific target and say, oh, give me padding, it will override. If it will override this star one. So there is hierarchy in CSS. We will discuss more about the hierarchy later on. But right now, just write this small CSS. This star, always when you see star, you would see it when you download. Some of you are already experienced, but most of the times you download templates. I create templates, but you will see this and you will say, oh, you would say, man, what is this? What does this mean? It just means all the elements by default should have no padding and no margin. Then you are saying in the body, give me background colors, and you are saying the header itself. If you see our HTML, we have the header tag, and you just told it to give you a particular color. Take the views width, make it white, and the height should be 4 rem. So how did I come up to this 4 rem? I just eyeballed it actually. I just thought, okay, from the look of it, it should look like 4 rem should fit. But that's the wrong way to approach the project. So we can always, that's why we have the UI UX design. He has done all the thinking and done all the work for us. So we can always click on that particular header element and check the properties. You can see the height is 53 pixels. So to get the equivalent height, we can easily write 53 pixels because usually we don't worry too much about, when we come to responsive design, we don't worry too much about the height value. So in this case, you are safe to actually write the exact value for the height. Or you can still, yet again, write use the relative height. So if you want to use the relative height, there is a tool there is a website where if you write px, that means pixels to rem, it will give you the value. Pixels to rem converters. People have built sites to do that for you. So in his own, he wrote 55 pixels exactly. So if you want to maintain this ratio, this is relative. This is relative to the size of someone's screen. So that's why we use this rem. It is relative to the entire project screen. So it will always look the same, it will always give you the same value, the same look, no matter how your screen, no matter how large or small your screen is. So we can pick this one and use it, or you can leave it at the pixel. It won't matter too much right now. So we can go back to our LinkedIn page and change it. I almost got it. So I change it to the 3.3, wow, something. And you see, it looks even better. Now we've gotten the exact value the designer has given us. So that is how good the Figma is, and whoever designed this, Mr. Kamal, is. Please, you can go like his page for giving us this free Figma design to work with and learn with. Then we can start blocking out things like the tabs here. So for quick reference, we can come here. You can see that we have our tab. This thing keeps coming up. I don't want it to come up. Anytime I try to hover, it will just block me. But we have, I hope you can see what I'm trying to do. We have the LinkedIn icon. We have the search bar. We have the home. We have the, I don't know, he changed it to his language. And I think is this Indian? Biswa, is this Indian? What language is this writing? Or is this Pakistani? Biswa, are you with us? I think Biswa is gone. I think this guy might be Pakistani. Anyways, so this is the home, if I can remember the actual UI for LinkedIn. So let's start blocking these ones out. We will do something called the flexbox. I won't explain the flexbox too much right now, but I'll try to explain as much as possible. So the header itself, the display for the header should be flex, or let's not even start doing the CSS for now. Let's block out the divs that are inside. So there is another HTML element called the div. So the div element is just a container kind of element with a block style display. So it doesn't really display anything if you just say div. Nothing is shown. But if I write logo, for example, you see that logo is shown and it's around the corner. So let me just comment this. We want this div to be our logo. So we'll say logo. Do you know how to comment? Is anyone having problem commenting? So to comment, you can click on Windows command / it will turn something to comment for you. It will turn a line to a comment to you. If it's an empty line, it will just give you opportunity to write comments. So I like to comment. And if you notice, I don't type everything from the beginning. So it's very important to have that tool. It saves us time and it makes it easy for us to learn. We cannot always remember every single tag. We forget them. It's only when you work with them every single day that you would remember, all the tags. So we want to put in the logo now. So we just did this div logo, and we know that apart from the logo, we have a search bar. We have a search bar. So we can also have another div called search bar, or an input type called search bar. So you can duplicate it and always write comments. It's good, but especially for those of us who are learning, it's very good to always write comment. So it's going to be an input, and the type is going to be text. You will notice an ugly looking input comes out. It's not as beautiful as the one we have in the design. We will use CSS to design them. But for now, what we are trying to do is block out elements. So thanks to the designer who has already done all the work, he has given us the icon. So you can double click the icon, right? If you have the file, that's why we have the file. You can double zoom in, double click it, right click it, and there should be an option for export. Let's see. Okay, so there is an option for copy copy and paste, copy as SVG, copy as CSS. So let's just copy this logo as SVG. Clicking on this, it has copied to your what do they call? There's a word for this. Why do I keep forgetting stuff like this? Anyways, it has copied it to the memory of your computer. That's what I can remember now. So you paste it, it will show. Can you see? It has generated the SVG code for us to have the LinkedIn icon. So let me go through the steps again. Zoom in as much as possible. Make sure you are clicking on the LinkedIn icon. That's the logo itself. Right click it. Go to copy and paste. That's the last command. Then copy as SVG. If you like, you can copy as CSS, but just copy as SVG. SVG is a vector type graphics. I've explained vector type graphics in the other class. So it gives us the LinkedIn icon the way it's supposed to be. Thanks to Figma. So this is
I'm still a bit back, please.
Okay, where are you right now?
I lost like connection with you earlier.
Okay.
I was sorry.
Okay, I think we would have to continue. I think his network is still bad. So okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm still at the styles and where you the background color. That's what I have.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let me do something quickly for the team. So I'm going to make this project a Git project, and I'm going to be pushing. So if you are having problem, you just go to the URL, you'll see the current code, because we can't be, going back and forth too much. So network, try as much to get a steady internet. I know it's not easy, but that's why we are recording the video in case of problems like this. So so let me just copy this code for you for now, because setting up Git will take another time we don't have. And I want us to cover a lot today. Are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
So on the chats here, to
Okay.
everyone, I have pasted the CSS code. Just copy and paste it to the CSS code. To the chat now, I have just copied the HTML code, copy and paste it in the HTML. Copy and I don't think I can paste. It's stopping me from pasting it. Maybe they wrote some checker not to allow me paste CSS code, Java HTML code. So what we can do is I can upload a file, the current file, and from my computer. And let me do that quickly so that you can just catch up with us. Let me see, LinkedIn underscore clone. What's the name of the project? Okay. So I just copied the index.html, so you can copy it and just be on the same page.
Is it in the chat?
Yes, I just added all these ones to the chat. So is everyone that has been with us now?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, I'm with you.
all right. So there is one thing. Let's go to the CSS now. So if you notice from the design, there is space between here and here, between between the end of the page to the actual content. And that's how LinkedIn is designed. So we can provide some values to make this design work. So how do we do that? There is a command to check distance. Yes, control. Okay, I don't have that command. So the easiest thing I can do is to create a box, put it at the end, and draw it to where it stops, where the spacing stops, and then we get the value. The width value is 135, but we can put 134 px. So we copy it. We don't need this anymore, so we do Ctrl Z. Then we go to this pixel again and paste the value. It will give us the rem equivalent, the relative width equivalent. So we can copy it and give the header a padding. So we can say padding. So there is a way this padding thing works. There's a way padding works. So when you are giving a generic padding, let me start by giving a specific padding, like saying padding dash.
I think the command for checking the distance is for Mac is command option. Like you click on the first place and then hover to the object.
So command
option. And then you click on the place you want to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not working.
It's working. The width, I think. For mine, it works for Windows. I don't know why.
So option is like the key. What?
Yeah, command
Okay,
option.
I've
Yeah,
seen it.
yeah.
I've seen it. I wasn't clicking it well. Thanks very
Okay.
much for that information. It will be very handy to everyone. So instead of doing that boxy stuff I did. So yeah, this is very important. So make sure you add the REM. So we can do this by saying padding left, and it will give us a padding. Can you see it gave a padding that space? But that means we have to say padding right too. We have to say padding right and provide the same value, rem. So in order not to write this element twice, we can use just padding. And let me show you how the padding alone works. So if you're using padding alone, it works in such a way that the first argument goes for the top. So the top of that particular element, we don't want it to, to have any padding, so we put 0. Then the next is the right. So we want the right to have this value. Then the next is the bottom. It goes in a clockwise direction. So the next is bottom, which is 0. We don't need it to have any padding. Then the final one is the left itself. So then we give value and rem. It's the same thing. That is the same thing to writing padding left, padding right. So you just need to remember the structure. So when you're using padding or margin or anything related, it has this 4 arguments, which is the top, the right, the bottom, and finally the left. So I hope you remember this. So even if you don't remember, we'll do it over and over until you remember. So did you notice something? Let me even add another tab and call it tabs. Let me add another div and call it tabs. Let me add another div and call it tabs. Div and call it tabs. And just write tabs here. If I save, you notice that the website isn't showing the way the design is. This comes in horizontally and ours is going vertically. Why is that? That is because of the display we are using. So the type of display we are using by default is block. So the div automatically tries to take the whole page or the whole available space it has because we are using the div tag. So let me explain by giving this tab a style of color, so there is something called inline CSS. So by adding a style attribute, you are writing an inline CSS to a tab. So we are just going to say background color equals to green or gray, whatever. So did you notice that the simple tag we wrote is filling up the whole available space, apart from the padding that the parent tab element has? The parent element is the header. That's the parent element. Then this is the sub element. It's trying to fill in. So, and we don't want that. We want the tab, the tab to display in an horizontal form. So to do that, there is something called a display in our CSS. So this same header tag, we'll give it an attribute called display, not inline now. We want it to be a flex. If you make it a flex, it will appear horizontally. Did you notice it just appeared horizontally? So, and the flex has some default attributes. Once you make a div a flex, right, it's going to give you a default attribute of flex direction. And the flex direction, you can specify whether it's a column or it's a row. If I put it as column, we go back.
I
Hello?
have a question. You said
Okay.
like the default display is inline, right?
No, the default display is block.
Okay, but like what's the difference between this flex and the inline?
So the inline will try, the flex has more properties. So the inline is for the individual item. It will try to take the minimum space it can, not the maximum. Block will take the full space it can, while inline will take the minimum space it can and allow other people to have space. Meanwhile, block will just say, okay, I'm the big boy now. I'll just take everything. Then the flex will say, this flex is for the children, not it itself. It will take all the space it can, but then the children of it are going to be flexed. They are going to either be displayed in a column way or in a row way. So that's why you have these extra attributes called the flex display flex direction. So the flex direction here, you ask, if I provide column, it goes back to be similar to block. Doing this and putting block is the same thing. It's not the same thing, but almost the same appearance, because block will take it. Each individual element will take all the space it can. But when you make it row, now, it will take the children will act as if they are having an inline display, and they will take the minimum available space they can. And if you notice, the rest of this element, let me change the color of this element itself from white to yellow, or something dramatic like red. So you see it's filling the whole screen. This particular header is filling the whole screen. It's having a display of block, but the children itself is having a display which is similar to the inline element. So you have to specify that, okay, this guy should take more of the width, or this guy should take more of the height. Say then, if I make this column, they will act as if they are block elements. That's the children now. The children element will act as if they are block element, and they'll try to take everything. They'll try to take all the space. Even the logo is taking all the space. So let me show you again. Let me explain again. So you see the header has children element. These are all the children elements. They are each element is trying to fight for space and is consuming everything. So that's how they work. So we can take it back to white. It itself is taking the whole space, but then we can take this to row, so that the children will take the space you allocate to them horizontally. So a column acts for vertical, takes in vertical positioning. Meanwhile, row takes in horizontal positioning. So that's how you use it to align the items in a horizontal manner. So starting from the left to the right, though there is even direction. You can specify flex. You can reverse it. You can say flex grow. No, sorry, flex wrap. Okay, no, this is the wrong attribute. So you can also reverse it. Say flex reverse or something. Flex flow. Yeah, flex flow is the right one. So you can say wrap. You can say reverse, row that reverse, and it will reverse it starting from the right. So sometimes you might want to start from the right, not from the left. But in this case, we want to start from the right itself. So we don't even need to, because the default is starting from the left. So I hope we are on the same page and we have a little understanding of it. Though we'll come back to it and discuss it intensively. But let's have this UI looking nice. Then these tabs I'm going to take away, or I don't even need to worry about this one. So if you notice in the design too, everything is in the center, like it's aligned towards the center. this is aligned towards the center, especially for the logo and the search bar. The tabs is taking the full width. We'll see how to tackle that. So for this, we would just say that for the header here, what we need to say is align items. Now the children now, align the items, make them center for me. It will align everything to the center. Did you notice that it aligned everything and made it, align to the center? So there is another one again that for justifying content, but we don't need it right now. So we just need to align the items to the center. Now, the next thing we need to look at is, if you notice, if I zoom, this one looks like they are grouped together. This whole element, the tabs and this extra icon, it looks like they are grouped together. So we should separate them as another div. We should separate them as another div by wrapping this initial one, the tabs, with another one, another div. So we've already written it. This is an opportunity to show you another skill, another trick. Since you've already written it, you can click on in your Mac control option Command Shift P. Command Shift P would give you the opportunity to use the Visual Studio Code commands itself. And this was it, and this was the recent one I used, which is emit abbreviation. You can write EM to look for the particular command you want to do. We are trying to use the emit. Hit enter. So what do you want to wrap this div with? I want to wrap it with another div. So we hit enter, it will wrap it with another div. So, and this particular div, we can give it a class and say tab dash extra. So that means the tab and the other extra div, which we can create by just saying div. We can just create by saying div and just leave it like that. They are going to be in the same group. That's the tab here and the other tags. So here we are. Now, another challenge we have right now is that you see this particular tab here is not aligned to the center like this one. So the easiest way to do this is to also wrap this logo with another div, make it flex, and make everything aligned to center for the icon because they are in the same group. So the easiest way to do it is to wrap it in another div and make it aligned to the center, and make the height 100% of its parents, and make this one too the height 100% of its parents. So let's do that now. Let's wrap the search bar and the icon with another div. We can even change these names to be a better name. So you see this logo, from the logo to the search, you can highlight everything. Control Shift P, and because we've used the emit before, it will be the default command. So we hit enter and we wrap it with another div. So we have two divs. So now we can give this div a class. Remember, we are giving it a class. I can just say left nav. This one we can say, instead of tab extra, we can say right dash nav. Now nothing will happen, as in nothing significant will happen. It's still trying to maintain its structure. And remember that we've covered we've wrapped these two tabs That's why we are having this side effects, that this is showing in a columnar manner, and this one is in its own way. So what we need to do is to code this class in the CSS and also have this class in the CSS. So I'm going to show you another trick in the CSS now. So in the CSS, since these two classes have similar attributes, we can say dot left nav that left dash nav, comma. Putting this comma means I want this class and this other class to have the same attributes, similar attributes. So like right dash nav. So we did not talk about class, target class. So let me talk about that before I continue. So you see in our divs, we have an attribute called the class. All you are saying is, you see this is my div, I want it to have a CSS class. So basically I'm saying, apart from, because the div, we have div. You can count how many divs we have already. We haven't even gone far on the project. We have more than 4 divs. But how do we know which div we are talking about when we want to style that particular div? If you notice in our CSS, we can boldly say, I want to target the header. You can only have one header. You should only have one header in a project. You should always have one body in a project. But you can have 1 million divs if you can. If it permits you, you can have 1 million div. But then how do we know which div we are targeting when we are writing this CSS? Is by using either ID or using classes. So classes is a reusable way of using the CSS. If you create a class, a CSS class, you can use it in any other elements. It won't even matter. Like if we use this class, if we use this on a div and we use this on an input type and we provide maybe a background color of green, if we just copy that class, give it to another div, it will take the class. So let me write the code. And then this command, this comma here simply means I want two separate classes to have the same attributes. So the same attribute we want is to make them flex too. So we can make their display a flex display. So, and you remember the default value for flex direction, this flex direction is row. So we don't even need to mention it. So I just mention it so that you know that attribute exists. We can take it out if we want. Then you notice now everything goes back to the row structure. And the tab here wants to take the available space it has, and this one too is trying to take the available space it has. So both of them are flex. But then one more thing we need to do is to say, maybe this should take some width, and then we should give some width for this and this. And then this one, we let it take the rest of the space. That's the tab should take the rest of the space. Then again, the tab icon, the tab should take the right nav should take full height. That means it should span right from the beginning to the ending of the header tag. So looking at the design, we are making all these decisions from the design. That is what it looks like. It's either that or everything is being, it's okay. It's actually been, it's taking all the fields, actually taking all the field. So to do this, we can say dot right nav height equals to 100%. Now I just introduced another unit for us. So 100%. The height should be 100%. Let me look. It's supposed to take 100%, right? Okay, I did not spell the right well. I wrote right. So if I save it properly, you would see that it is taking 100% of the height, which is similar to what we are having in this design. but we have other, we have an icon, we have a text, and then we have this highlight that only shows when it is active. So we'll do that now. We'll just keep blocking things out before going into detail. So let me quickly give this left nav bar a color so that I know what the width is taking. So let me temporarily, this is temporary, you don't need to write it. So we can specifically say dot left nav and give it a particular color, maybe background color should be pink, something like that. So I just noticed that our input is not inside. It seems like our input is not within. Let me look at the HTML structure very well. So we have our nav. Our logo is a div inside. Then our input type is not inside a div. So, and the default behavior for the input type of text is that it is by default an inline element. It takes, like I told you, inline display takes the minimum space it can, while block takes the maximum it can. It just tries to take the whole space. So the smart thing we can do is to wrap it with a div. What is happening? Wrap it with a div. Ctrl+Shift+P. Emit abbreviation div. Wrap it with a div. And yes. So you see, since we've wrapped it with a div, it has taken the whole space. And our right nav, let me take out this color we don't need this color anymore. I hope you didn't write it. It was just for explanation. So the right nav too, we can give it a temporary color just to make decisions. So background color, we can make it blue for now. It's a dramatic color. And I noticed something. The right nav, I don't know, I thought it was a div. So a div should, by default, take the whole space, but it seems not to be taking the whole space. So let's see. So let's quickly open the Flex documentation. So that's one way. If you're having a challenge, you can always open documentations. So we can just say Flexbox in CSS. And we go to CSS Tricks explains Flexbox very, very well. Then we click on CSS, the one in CSS Tricks, and you'll see how it is in use. So you can see how we use the display flex here, how we use the direction, the flex direction, by providing row. It goes in a row format. Then there are more attributes we need to provide. This is the justify content. If we use the justify content and we say align justify center, it will try to put everything in the center. If we space between, it tries to space between. If we space evenly, let me use all these attributes so that you see the differences. So right from our header, that's the main element, we can use the justify item, justify content, and we can say center. It will put everything to the center. If we change it to space between, or space around, it will provide space around it. If we change it to space between, it will space it between, and that is what we actually want. So we want this close to the left ending of the site, regarding the padding. Then we want this close to the right ending of the site too. So we might not even need to do anything like we might not even need to use some other attributes for flex, like flex, grow, and stretch. So for now, let's stick with this information that we have. Now, the icon and the search bar in the first right nav, which is this one, they are they are not structured very well. So remember that our align items. So the left nav, we would align items to center. It will center the items, and we don't need the color anymore. So we've gotten it right. Then we can also use the space. We can use the justify too. We can use the justify content and space evenly, or space between, because we want it spaced. Now, it isn't giving us the space we want because we need to specify a width, a total width for the left nav. And if we go back to the design, that's why we have the design, we can highlight both of them. They are a group. Logo and search bar is a group. And we can see that that particular group is spanning the width of 324 pixels. Then we copy that 324 pixels, go to conversion, paste it, we get our 20.12 but 0.25 rem. Then we go to the left nav and specify that the width is this much. If we go to our website, you would see that it is forming shape. So you see our search bar is all the way here, even though we've not gotten it, exactly the way we want it. So sometimes you must not use flex for everything. We can just add margin for the icon for this particular logo. We can just add a margin right and push the icon, the search bar a bit forward, or leave it the way it is and make the search bar's width reach all the way to the icon. So we can copy the search bar's width. It is 280 pixels. And now let me show you another trick. We mustn't write CSS class for every single element. We can target the child element using CSS too. Once I do this, I will stop and people would ask a lot of questions and I will answer these questions. So the left nav, again, we can say dot left nav, angular brackets, that's forward angular brackets. Then we say input, open and close, width, paste the value, rem. Okay, something is wrong. So we can, there is a particular way we can specify the input type, not just input, because the input here has a type. So because I forgot to myself, so we can easily get that information by Googling target element. So target element in CSS. So you would see some advanced targeting. So let's go to the W3 schools and let's see, we want to target element input type of text, specifically input type of text. So I'm still scrolling to see. Okay, we don't.
Scroll down.
Okay.
No, it's there. There's input type for check. So I think it's still the same as input type focus just down.
Okay.
So I think you just put focus. Yeah, C1 for focus. Yeah.
So this is
maybe
for
something like that.
Okay, so let's just try, instead of putting focus, let's try putting focus is when you are actually focused on something, not the text.
Okay.
So let's just replace it with text. So let's say no. It's not the right. Okay, target text. No. This is also for targeting the text. So I'm not getting what I want. This is not
I think maybe
exactly
put the
what I want.
bracket in between, right? Let's bracket like the input, then bracket type, and then let me see.
There is of type. I'm coming. It just skipped my mind. There is of type. I think this is the of type. So let's just Google. There is a solution. So there's a reason why I intentionally did this project. Did this project the way I'm doing it, because most of the times when you watch regular tutorials, you don't see this behind the scene of us actually struggling, because in a real life project, we struggle like this too. Even the most experienced developers will always run into problem and Google stuff. So I want you to have the habit too of always trying to Google stuff. So we can just say how to target. Someone will have the same problem. Input type of text. Input.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah, is you put input, then then type, then text. Yeah.
Okay. So someone has already. I want to also see it here. So someone must have already asked the same thing in Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is a good place where programmers, ask questions when they are hooked, just like how we are hooked here. So we are trying to target this particular guy. This is all we needed to add. So we just copy and we paste it here. So this, what did I do? Okay, this should change the width right now. I think it's not changed. It's not overriding the width. It is not overriding the width. So I think here, since I can't directly override the width, maybe what I can do now is to, well, let me see whether is what I'm doing is wrong, or it's by default cannot. You have to go and read every single tab and understand it, every single element, and understand what you can do and what you cannot do. But sometimes you need to also do a trial and error. So I can comment on this for now, just to make sure that yes, I cannot expand the default width given to an input type of what's it called, of this guy. Yeah. So, but let me see something too. I can also try to change the display, which was initially inline, to block. I am aware that it is an inline, by default, it's an inline type of display. It has an inline type of display. So I've done that, but it's not changing. So what I need to do now, the next thing we can do to check whether this thing is working is by giving it an ID. That way we are sure. So we can say search bar.
Okay.
We can give it an ID. That way we are sure that we are absolutely checking that particular element. So I can copy the search bar, go to the index.html, go right where we have the search bar input type, and give it an attribute of ID, and paste search bar. That one we know that yes, for sure we are targeting this guy. Then we can copy these two codes, the width and the display of block. And we know that now we were not targeting it well. Did you see that it actually increased now?
Yes.
Yeah, so it did increase the size now. So now we know that, okay, it's from us. Probably we are not doing this targeting properly.
Yeah, maybe the target, yes.
Yes, so probably we are not doing the targeting properly. So we can still comment this and try to get the targeting properly, because this is writing lesser code. However, I know definitely, because it's a search bar, if you want to do some JavaScript, eventually you go and probably edit the TypeScript. Sorry, to edit the type. So I see in the example this person has given us, but let's see a full example in the CSS itself. Is this not exactly what we did?
No, the problem is him. I think he called input and then maybe called any input type with text, with type text. For us, we're actually referencing from the input type of this class.
Yeah, so and then I noticed something. We did not put columns. I don't know if that will affect it.
I don't think if it will still work.
So I don't know. We did not put columns. So okay, it still didn't work. So we will look into this later, or I'll comment it. If I can find free time to fix it, I'll fix it. But for now, the ID is good enough. It's good enough for us to work with. Then the space between should work. So justify content space between, but okay, the display is flex. So if you notice, we said both the left nav and the right nav should have a display of flex. Let me even be sure I spelled the left nav well. Okay, we did spell it well. And we said justify content space between. And it's like the spacing we are giving here is too much for the input type. 280 pixels. So let me change it to 280 pixels. Okay, so and we have it right. Then the height here is not the same height. So the height is 34 pixels. So we can provide 34 pixels. Okay. Then there's one more thing. In the design, he doesn't have a border and it has a background color. Did you notice that? It has one nice background color. So remember, if you click on your eye icon, you can always see the color, which is EE F3 F8. So we can give it a background color. So EE hash EE. What was the color again? Hash EE F3 F8. So F3 F8. So it has given that background color, but we have an annoying looking old, border. We don't want that border. So there is a border attributes which you can add, and it will take away the border. Then if you notice his own too in the design, if you are following the design very well, that it is rounded. It has rounded corners. So we can go to it and highlight, and you can see that it's even giving us some of the attributes. So you can see that we have, I'm not seeing it. Okay. So even though we are not seeing it, I know the attribute is border radius, border dash radius, and we can say, let's just eyeball it and say 8px, and it will be rounded. Let me zoom. Oh, I said border bottom, border radius. So can you see that ours is now rounded? So, but I wanted to see the actual border radius here is 4 pixels, not 8. So let's give it 4 pixels. So, and if you zoom, you would see that it is rounded, and it's beginning to look like the Instagram clone. So if you have questions, go ahead, ask before we move to the next thing.
Sure, Abdullah.
Yeah.
Like whenever I am trying to do that project,
Yes.
my HTML page is not working as before. Can I share my screen?
Okay.
Wait, sorry, please, before you share your screen, I don't know if you can open your code. Let me see something. CSS.
Mine? Okay.
Yes. I'm trying
Should
to see it.
Okay.
No, is there a place you added space between the search bar and this? Okay, why did you add this like display block? Like, what if you leave it no block?
Okay, to see whether the width will increase.
Because I don't know mine, like I'm not getting the space.
Okay, the reason why I gave it a display block is that it might conflict. So initially the default display for input type is inline. So I just took it out and no problem.
No, I mean not that I'm not getting any space between my logo and the input button.
Oh, okay. So in your nav bar, what was the width you gave it?
Okay, which of the nav
bar? The left nav. Did you notice there is a width which we copied from?
Yes.
Yeah, which we copied from the design. So that's why we have this space here.
Okay. That's too.
Then I'm also seeing.
Yes, I also have a question. Like, why didn't you use the relative for the input button?
Relative.
That's for the search bar, width and height. You used pixels, because I think that was the reason I wasn't getting the space for mine.
Okay, yeah, we can still use. There is no reason. Like, I didn't think smart for it. There's no thought behind it. So you can always just copy the 280 and get the exact value, which is 17, and you will get it. You would actually get it. So you can copy this URL. It's very important. You would be using it for related stuff. Related. I just said related stuff. So it will still appear the same. Then you can specify the height using relative, but most of the times I don't worry too much about height. So, and this is not even the end. The main issue we'll be facing is when we start doing stuff like, let me inspect elements, function F12, is when we start changing it on other devices. So that's when we'll start writing media query. You see, it's already getting damaged. So we start writing media queries to fix all these issues. So, all right. Biswaka, you can share your screen. Let me stop sharing now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. See, whenever I'm just tried by a new project, I'm just creating a file like index.html.
Yeah.
Previously, like the boilerplate was coming whenever we just try to write HTML, but now it is coming like that.
Okay, it's not giving you boilerplates.
Yeah.
Let's go to our plugin tab. Maybe the plugin went away or something. Write HTML. It's installed. So maybe you need to restart the
Already I have
browser.
restarted so many
Yeah.
times.
Have you restarted your system itself?
No, already I've restarted only the VS Code.
Like this, like you're using like Windows. They can. Did you wait? Create a new file. No, what? Creating
Yeah.
a new file. Maybe the extension wasn't done well.
No,
I
I
mean,
have see,
oh,
I
it's.
have done the steps again and again, but unable to do it.
But right click,
So I
create.
required-
Just no. You know what? Create a new. I just want to be sure about something. I want to be 100% sure. Go to the VS Code. Go to the Visual
Yes.
Studio Code.
Yeah. Yeah, it came out.
No, go to the Visual Studio Code itself. Create a new file. Click
New
on the
file
file.
and new
Yeah, yeah, new file. Write HTML. Just type HTML. Type HTML. Hit enter. So this is the problem. I'm coming. Close it. Close it.
No, if I'm selected language like
Yes, select HTML. Write HTML. Yeah.
then it will
So write the HTML. Let's see. So that was the problem. The extension wasn't done properly. Probably that your extension maybe is showing HTML.text. So the extension is not done properly. Can you see your abbreviations? Your boilerplates are coming.
yeah.
Please
This
give
is the
me
only HTML plugin
no,
is
right.
coming there.
Select the HTML5. Select the HTML5. So type something else. Whatever, maybe a p tag or something like that, or a div. So it's working. I know it's from the extension there. The index wasn't saved properly. So give me a few minutes. I need to go to I need to pee. I need to go to the restroom. Just give me some few seconds. You can discuss in the group with each other just for a few.
Sure.
Hello, I'm back. So are we here? Are we enjoying the class? Then do we have questions?
Yes, please. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, of course you are enjoying.
I'm a bit far behind. I stepped out to do something, so I was away from my laptop. I couldn't follow through. Can
Okay.
you just do a quick recap? I'll follow through as you're going.
Okay, so I won't be writing the code, so let me just explain. Is my screen still sharing? Am I still sharing my screen?
Yeah, sure.
No, are you seeing my screen? I'm kind of sure. I don't think I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Yeah. So let's explain. Okay.
First
So what we
off,
did.
how did you get the logo?
So how we got the logo was we went to the design itself. We selected the logo. We right-clicked. We went to this copy and paste, and we clicked on copy as SVG. Then we went back to the code. So you remember we have a div right before, and it has a logo in between. So we pasted the SVG. So SVG, like I explained in the previous class, it's actually it's a vector type of graphics. So you can always mess around with the heights and widths and other values, even the colors and the path. So that was how we achieved that was how we got the logo. Then we talked about Flexbox. Okay. We talked about Flex in CSS. We made the header tag a Flex type, and it had two other divs which are blocked. Then those divs have a display of Flex as well. So, and I explained why we are using a flex. It allows us to position the children element, and it acts a bit like the block. It takes the whole space, as much space as it can. Then the children are positioned based on a row or a column format. So that's why we are using the flex here. So maybe what I'm thinking henceforth to do is we use Saturdays to build, Sundays to explain, or Sundays to build, or Saturdays to explain. That means just talk about the concept without building the software itself. What do you think about
please,
it?
can you show me your HTML page?
Okay, so I'm going to copy and give you the HTML page too. So this is the new, I can't give you the, okay. So this is the new structure. Anyways.
Okay, so there's a div that has the logo on the search bar inside it.
Mm. Have you even seen the code? I think there is a way to expand this. Some
Yes,
people don't like seeing. Okay. Let me still expand. Oh, no, not this one.
No, take it back to the way it was before. The original size is fine, thanks.
Okay. Oh, this one.
Sorry, is the class going on?
Yeah, it's still recording. So I think, okay, can we continue now? Does anyone else have questions?
Yes, we can continue. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So let's try to tackle the rest of the nav bar. Okay. So the next thing is the tabs itself. So we need to design the tabs. For now, we will not worry too much about the detail here, the detail information here. We would leave it for now, but we will tackle this one now, the tabs. But we would use boxes. We can always get these icons too. So for the tabs, write nav. Okay, here in the CSS, we have write nav. Justify content, justify items, center.
Sorry. So, for a right nav, I'm looking for. You didn't say, you didn't specify direction of. Okay.
This is the comma I was explaining about. So when I said when displaying the nav, you see that we can say two things. We can say two classes have the same flex. So no need to say right nav flex, left nav flex. You understand? So we can just say right nav left, comma left.
No, I'm asking how did your right nav, because at the end of your like at the left side.
Yes. How did it go to this side?
Yes.
So in the header tag here, we have justify content space between.
Okay.
So it will push this one to the side.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe tomorrow what we will do is to explain all these concepts without a page, like just talk about flex itself. You understand?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very handy before we move forward. I would have done that, but I didn't really prep for that. So I'm just, doing it like how I would work on a project normally. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 similar kind of div, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then here we have another one, which is just 2. So the best thing I think we should do is to add another div, inside the right nav. Inside the right nav, and just so a group of these tabs and a group of this extra. So we'll call it extra, or what did he call it? Let's see what he called it here. Menu. Okay, in the menu, you have menu items. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. So let's go to our index.html. Then the right nav, we have a tab. We have tab. So we would add 2 groups. So this one, we'll call it menu items. So let's just see. 1, 2, 3. Do we need 3?
Okay, so we'll have 3 div.
Yes, I think we should. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. So I'm thinking we should have 3 divs. Would have 3 divs here. So one more div, because this is the middle, so you can just duplicate this one. So this div is the one that has the tabs. So we can focus on it and probably just add those tabs for now. Then once we are done with the tabs, we add these other ones. So let's zoom on this and see how we can make this come to life. So in the tab, we are going to have 1, 2 in this one. Let's give it a class. Class tab items. We'll just say tab dash items. The name seems like what.
And I also have a question. Like,
okay,
when is the right convention to use an ID?
okay, there is no, hard rule that says this is when. You have to think about it intuitively. So what am I trying to do? And ID should be very unique. So if you're giving something an ID, it should not have that ID repeated again.
Okay.
So if that thing is 1, that's when it's ideal to have an ID, and an ID is always unique. But for classes, they are reusable. So you can have the same class but applied multiple times. So here we have the tab items, and in the tab items, we are going to the tab items itself. We are going to have tab or item, tab item, just tab item, single. So we are going to say div times 6. And have I showed you this before? This what I'm trying to do. It's called emit.
No.
So
You
div
haven't.
times 6 dot tab dash item, and how it enter, and it will generate those tab items for us. We don't need to type it and duplicate all the time. Should I repeat it again for someone who doesn't get it?
Yes.
Okay, so Control Z. Let's close. This is called emit. So div times 6 dot, we are talking about the class now, tab dash item. So it will give us all the tabs now. So it's left for us to go and change the values. So, and we notice all of them have, different icons. Please. I should do it again?
Yeah.
Okay, Control Z. Div. How many times do we want the div? 6 times. What classes should be in those div? We want tab dash item, not items now, item. So it will generate that for us. Yeah. That's another trick we'll be using a lot for repetitive stuff.
Yeah, it is interesting.
So then there is one more thing we need to add. So we need to add we need to have icons for each and every one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has a drop down. Let me see whether he has made the drop down work. Nope, it's just static, no problem. So we have icons. Now, let's go and add the items. So first of all, let's work on this tab items. So let me see whether what I was doing before was right. So dot full column. So I want to target specifically the items. Let me change the color. I'm testing. You mustn't type this. Great. Aha. This is where we had problem initially. If you remember, I tried to target the child class, but nothing happened. But let's see the width. Let's see whether it's the width problem. 100%. Still nothing happened.
I think maybe you don't use the arrow key or something, and maybe it's the dot, like the two.
Yeah, so if you notice, when I hover it, it's trying to say that the top element, which is the item, and then the sub element, which is the tab items, and I'm targeting it. I'm giving it a width of 100%, or let me just give it a width of 100 px to see. I'm just trying to test something. Initially when we tried that other site, it didn't work. So that's why I'm trying to see what will happen if I try to target the tab, the nav in the tab. What? So, but let's leave it like this. We don't really need that one for now. And the width should be taken out. So I'm blocking out things. I'm giving it color so that we can know where things are positioned. So to get the full width of this, we can highlight. We can highlight this. I think this is a single group. Okay. So this one is the one that has the height. Okay, this one has a width, this one has a width, this one has a width. Okay. So the items is what will give width. So let's give the item itself width. So the item's width is 80 pixels. We can, for now, we can use the. Hello, this one, I think there is a radio making noise in your background. The type items would give it a display of flex. Then the tab item itself, dot tab item, would give it a width of 80 pixels. You can change it to the pixel you want. So let me go check that. Let me check that. Okay. Let me check that converter. What is 80? 80 is 5 rem. So we give it 5 rem. Good. Then this color, there's a reason why this color is coming out is because we gave the right nav a color of blue. So let's take it out. We don't need that anymore. Then we need to start giving the type items those images. So let's provide these icons. So you can double click on the icon, right click it, copy as SVG. You can also copy as CSS if you want, just to see how it works. So in here, I'm going to paste this SVG. And we have our house looking icon. Then next, we are going to copy this, I don't know, this I think is user icon. So we're going to copy it for the next tab. So we have it showing. Then we need to copy our this bag icon. So you should do the same step. Copy. Oh no, wait, something wrong, copy as SVG and paste. Next is the message icon. Copy as SVG. Next is the reminder icon. Copy as SVG. Then finally, Ben, which is not an icon, which is actually a photo. Let's see, copy as image. What happens if I do copy as image? I don't think we can do copy as image. So we are supposed to export this image. Gosh. Of course, I know it won't copy as image. Let me try something. It doesn't copy. So let's see. Since I've selected it, let's see file. Yeah, exports. So click on this export. Thought I selected this one. Object. There's supposed to be a way for me to export item. Objects, let's see. I don't have, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get this one sorted out in the next class. But since I don't know how to get this image, I could just use another image. So I'll just create a new image folder, img, and I can call it user avatar underscore avatar dot sorry, why am I'm creating a picture? No. So the image folder, I'll just go grab one of the images on my PC. Preferably grab your photo, your own photo. So I just grab this is LinkedIn, right? It should be professional. So I'll just pick one of the professional photos. Copy it, paste it here. Okay, I can't paste. I have to just go to the folder. So copy it, go to Code Sahel, development, HTML, LinkedIn clone, yeah. The image, paste it. Make sure I rename it to a memorable name. So make sure I rename it to avatar. Let's just name it avatar.jpg. Then here, I just add an image. Then the source is going to be img avatar.jpg. So, and it should display. And it's displayed badly. So we need to style it. So we need to give it a width and height. And we can get the width and height from here, which is
It's up, I think, yeah.
the height and width. I'm not seeing that option.
It's not the property there.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it. So the property is 24, 24. So I'm going to use CSS to get the property. So dot tab item. I still believe this should work. IMG. I still believe this heights. Let me give it 24 px. I'll change it to RM. Weight 24 px. I don't know why this isn't working. So it worked now. The avatar is small. Then finally, the border radius should be 100%. Do you know what a border radius is? Is everyone familiar with border radius? That's what would give us the cycle. So I just made the border radius 100% and it gave us the cycle. So let me explain what we did. So the tab item itself, right? The image in the tab item, we say it's 24 by 24 because we got that value from here. And the border radius, the roundness of that tab should be 100%. So it will give us 100% circle. So yeah, I think that is good enough. So, and I believe we are all familiar with how to add image. All we need to do is to create a folder and that folder should have a photo. So just add any of the image you like. So I got my own image and then give it a size. So we can also go to this pixel stuff and put 24. That's 1.5 frame, and we can change it if you want to.
I'm sorry, I don't know why from mine it's
Yes.
when I try to like copy the items, it's copied with the logo of the pen also, but not the picture, but the picture is like faded. And when I try to open my HTML, it's just some bunch of like gibberish long.
Oh, you tried to copy the picture?
I copied each one of them, the SVG, right?
The SVGs. So let me see, let me go to the process again. You have to right click the image, the SVG itself.
Okay,
Just the SVG alone. Make sure it's the only thing highlighting.
Okay.
Then right click it, copy as SVG. Make sure it's not copying, it's not including the rest of the stuff. The rest of the things are just text and maybe some CSS tricks. We don't need to copy those ones. So we just need to copy those ones alone.
Okay.
So even though it starts taking 2 hours, or 3, 3 hours actually. It's coming up, right?
Yeah, just it's for the today. We will continue tomorrow.
Yeah, so we can just continue tomorrow. I'm tired already. All right. But let's stop and ask questions and let's see where we can go from here.
Okay.
Hello. Questions, anyone?
Yeah, you just put the recording off and we'll sort out the problem that I'm facing.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's let me stop sharing. You can share your screen. It's still part of the process. We'll still record your sharing of the screen. Some people might have the same issue, so they can just watch it. So let's see what you have, what problem you're facing.
Like that, whenever I'm trying to create a folder and do the project, like the boilerplate is not coming. See, I don't have any project named as a LinkedIn clone. I want to go and create a new one.
Underscore, not dash.
Yeah, previously I have tried with underscore. It was also not working. Okay.
Hit enter.
Because so what do you do to increase, like after I've copied the whole scene now, just the icon now, to like give space in between each one of them because they are all like stuck together.
Oh, okay. So what we did was to justify there is width. It has width. The tab item has width. Yes, the tab item has width of 5 rem.
Okay.
Okay, this way. So yours, the problem is only showing you.
Is it the tab items or the tab item? Like, is it the children or the child? Is it the
tab items? Just the item, no S. Yeah. Let me copy the CSS, right? Let me copy the CSS. And let me paste it to the chat. The important thing is to understand the concept. All right. Yeah. This one, okay, write HTML, let's see.
Yeah.
Are you typing HTML?
Again. Yeah, I'm just copying it. Okay. HTML.
Yeah. Wow. I think this is a problem with you. This is just a problem with VS Code and maybe your
Oh, hey,
browser.
it came. It was there.
Hit, yeah, it works
See,
now. Yeah, is your
it
system
came.
low as in slow?
No, currently it came, but previously it was not working.
Yes, sometimes we get issues like that. So
So that I have stocked here. I think now I'm able
no,
to
no,
do
no.
it.
Okay, yeah, style.css. So let me use GitHub to put this project so that you can always clone it.
Yeah, that's also okay.
Okay. So
But I have
let
just
me share my
copied
screen
from
so
the.
that you see the process.
Okay, okay, sure.
Are we still all together?
Yes.
Okay, who doesn't know how to use Git? Who has not used Git before?
I have known but have forgotten.
Okay, so let me share my screen. I'm just going to share for now because we don't need the browser. So there is something called the terminal, which is this. Come on. Even the VS Code has a terminal. You mustn't do this. We will talk about Git once we are done with this clone. We'll talk about Git very well, but I'm just showing you. So Git init makes your project a Git project, right? So Git add, we want to add everything into the Git project. Then Git commits. -m initial, what did we do? We have been able to navbar. We've been able to work navbar in progress.
What does it denote that whenever I just add git add dot?
What?
What it denotes that main of git add dot?
Why are we
The
doing
first
git add dot?
Yeah, the first line.
So it's because we want to add all the files to the tracker. So Git tracks your file. So when we say Git init, we are making the folder trackable by Git. So we are saying,
Oh yeah,
Git,
previously
look,
I've done git
this
in it.
project, we
Yeah.
want you to track it for us, track it. Just keep track of the project. Then we are saying,
Okay.
oh, now Git, since you are keeping track of this folder, these are the files you want. You can add a separate file, but if you say git add space dot, you are saying add all files. So that's what we are saying, add all the files. Then the commit message says, okay, commit the changes. Okay, we've made changes. Okay, this is the information, hold the information for the changes. So we've held the information for the changes. So now we need to go to GitHub itself.
We must remember all the steps, what by what it is coming.
Don't
That will
worry,
be easy.
it's with time. So it's with time. So let me, how do we even add the screen? So let me add the Git share. Okay. So I've just gone to the website so we can sign in now. And I'm going to sign in with my default GitHub account. Don't mind this unprofessional name. I've been using it since when I was in school and I refuse to change it. Mr. Speed.
Mr. Speed.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, okay. I'm supposed to put my email. Sorry.
Gamel it was.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, sometimes I'm facing the same issue. My name @gamel.com.
Damn, I've forgotten my password.
Very good.
Okay. Oh, don't worry, I'll get it now. I hope you're not seeing other parts of my screen before I get
No, I'll close my eyes.
Oh, I changed my password a few weeks ago. Well, what are you trying to say? Maybe I didn't spell. Oh, I know something is wrong. Come on. I don't easily forget my password like that. Aha, so yeah, save it, please. Okay, so we can just click on new repository and we can say code underscore Sahir underscore Instagram underscore clone. So it's public, no need to add readme file and stuff. So we add the repo. So remember those commands I copied. So I've already done all of this one. So all I need to do is to copy this one and paste it. And it will push the projects to this URL. So if you're having problem, all you need to do is to copy this code that we've done. So I'm going to copy the link, add it to the Zoom meeting, and we can call it a day. So copy this code, you can just clone, and this is how to clone. Once you come to this page, click on code, then click on HTTPS, then then you copy this. Or you click on code, you download the zip file. For now, you can be downloading the zip file. If you don't have Git set up, just click on code, then download the zip file. The project will be downloaded. So you can always, watch and compare. So do we have any questions so that I can call it a day and go and pray now?
No, sir.
All right, thanks. And one more thing, we are not in the military. You can call me Abdul, like how Biswa just says Abdullah every time. All right. So it was nice having you, and thank you for being in the session for the whole 3 hours. And you can always DM me if you have questions. And thanks to everyone who has been contributing. Biswa, Ali, and Austin, you've been active. So thank you very much.
Abdullah. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, so, and it seems like having if I can have just few people, 2, 3, like the most serious people, I'm even more satisfied than having, too many people in the meeting at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, catch you later. I'll catch you tomorrow. Will all of you 3 be available on Sunday this same time, or should I shift the time to 2?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be there.
2 is fine. Thank you so
2
much,
is
Abdul. Really appreciate it.
All right, 2 is fine, right? Austin, is 2 fine for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 is fine for me.
All right. Ali?
Yes, it's fine, man.
All right. All right. Goodbye.
Uh,
Bye. Have a happy weekend.
All right.